This is a Fox News alert. The jury has reached a verdict in the high-profile Sean Diddy Combs trial. The rapper faces charges of racketeering, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted, he could face life in prison. So let's go right now to Fox News national correspondent CB Cotton, who's outside the courthouse. CB.
Hey, Will, yeah, this 2-month-long trial, which included nearly 7 weeks of witness testimony, has gotten us to this point. Just before 4:30 this afternoon, local time, jurors came back with a note. And we've just learned that jurors say they are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, racketeering conspiracy, but they have reached a consensus on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right now, we've learned from inside the courtroom, the defense wants the jury to keep deliberating and does not want to take a partial verdict. We're waiting to see how prosecutors will respond to this major update from here in the ongoing federal sex trafficking trial. But right now, we've learned jurors are unable to reach a verdict on count 1, racketeering conspiracy. It is the most serious charge in this case. If jurors were to find Diddy guilty of that charge, it would be a sentence of life in prison. Counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 encompass the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Jurors so far have had lots of questions for the judge. A total of 6 notes, I believe, have been sent out from the courtroom. Jurors asking various things on the law, asking to review more pieces of testimony. Today, early this afternoon, jurors wanted to review the details shared by ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura on the witness stand about Diddy assaulting her at that Los Angeles hotel back in 2016, which was captured in some really disturbing surveillance video. The judge allowed jurors to be sent back with portions of testimony where she talked about what happened before and after that incident. Jurors also wanted to review some testimony from male escort Daniel Phillip. You may remember he was one of the first witnesses for the prosecution, and he testified about witnessing at least 2 times that he says he saw Diddy assaulting Cass. He said either saw or heard it happen twice. He also testified that he was paid hundreds to thousands of dollars to have sex with Cassie while Diddy watched. Will, if I may, I want to go back to my email and just see if there are any more updates from the courtroom. I'm seeing another email right now. I want to read this to our viewers as we're on the air. The judge says they have 3 options. The jury can continue its deliberations, or jury can continue its deliberations and he can give them some version of an Allen charge. I know you're a lawyer, Will, so I want to share with our viewers who may not be familiar with an Allen charge. It's where the judge instructs the jury to go back and continue deliberations on all of the counts. This is a 5-count federal indictment. The second option, the judge says the jury can give a partial verdict, which again, we've now learned that the jurors have reached a consensus on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the third option, according to the judge, is apparently, let me read through this, third option not being considered at this time. The judge is only okay, so the third option is apparently not even on the table, according to this latest note from the courtroom. The judge right now is only weighing whether jurors should continue deliberations or he should give an Allen charge. The defense is fighting to keep the jury in deliberations, and the judge is taking that argument into consideration. And we're also learning that both the defense and all the defense attorneys and the prosecutors are sort of sequestered off to their sides of the courtroom as they weigh these latest developments coming out of this trial. But the biggest takeaway right now, Will, is I can tell you jurors were unable to reach that unanimous consensus on racketeering conspiracy, the most serious charge in this case. If jurors had found Diddy guilty on that charge, he would have been sentenced to life in prison. But we are going to stay out here at the courthouse, continue to monitor these developments. Jurors have now been deliberating for about 13 hours between yesterday and today. Will, I want to send it back over to you.
All right, thank you, CB. I just want to clarify the top line once again. So on count 1, racketeering conspiracy, which, as you point out, can carry with it a potential life sentence, the jury has not been able to reach a consensus. But on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, sex trafficking by force, transportation for prostitution, sex trafficking by force again, These charges, the jury was capable of coming back, CB, right? And what was their verdict?
Will, correct. So we don't know what their verdict was on those charges, but they just told the court in this note that they reached a consensus on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Will, if I may, walk our viewers through those charges. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. That related to Diddy's ex-girlfriend and accuser, Cassie Ventura. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. That also related to Cassie Ventura. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. That related to Diddy, one of Diddy's another ex-girlfriend and accuser who testified under the pseudonym Jane. And count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution. That also related to Jane. And if I may go back to the counts 2 through 5, Will, just to unpack this a little bit, because it's a pretty convoluted case, right? So prosecutors allege that Diddy recruited and enticed Cassie into drug-fueled sex parties with male escorts called freak-offs. And during their closing argument, they pointed out to jurors, they said Cassie never did a freak-off without drugs. They also said the freak-offs took place throughout the course of their entire 11-year relationship. When it comes to count 3, the transportation to engage in prostitution, prosecutors pointed out to jurors all of the hotel, bank, and flight records that they say show the times where Cassie and Diddy flew male escorts across state lines for freak-offs. Count 4, another count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion related to Jane. Prosecutors for this specific count, they point to 3 specific hotel nights between Diddy and Jane that they say were sex trafficking. One time, September 2023 in New York City, another time, October 2023, and a third time, June 2024. The last time, that June 2024 instance, prosecutors really shared a lot of details about that, and they elicited a lot of testimony from Jane about that time, because they say it was a freak-off where Jane and Diddy were involved in a domestic violence situation with each other. And at the end of it, Jane testified that Diddy gave her a drug to make her high and then forced her to have sex with a male escort. And then count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution as it relates to Jane. Again, prosecutors pointed out to jurors flight, bank, and hotel records where they say male escorts were transported across state lines to have sex with Jane. Will, if I may, I'm pulling up my email right now just so I can see the latest that we have from the courtroom. Right now, one of our courtroom producers says everyone is in their seats. Diddy is seated with his hands in his lap, and he's having a conversation with his defense attorney, Tinny Garagos, and they're whispering the details. In terms, now that we've just unpacked the charges, Will, I should also mention the ambiance, how it feels out here outside the courtroom. Again, this has been a 2-month-long trial with lots of interest, because whatever happens, it's going to really reverberate across the music industry for years to come. Not only are the news media is out here, but there are also several influencers, TikTokers, people on YouTube, and they're all across me, across the street in front of the courthouse. The energy is really high. People are talking, some people are yelling, and people are really eager to know what is going on inside the courtroom.
Right.
Every single day of this trial, Diddy's children have been inside, his family members have been inside, and right now we're waiting for more details about how the judge will move forward with next steps.
And in fact, we just saw some of Diddy's daughters making their way into the courthouse as you were talking, CB Cotton.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.